Hello all and welcome to this week's Racing Base preview. We've got some Group 1 racing coming this Saturday. The Makybe Diva Stakes at Flemington and the Golden Rose at Rosehill Gardens. So joining me as usual, I've got Rick Chapman. Rick, how are you?
Yeah, looking forward to a great weekend of racing. Some tremendous racehorses going around.
Yeah, it's great to see those good horses getting back to the track, Rick. So I'm excited about this weekend, and let's kick off with the Flemington feature. The Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes over 1,600. What have you got picked out there for us?
Well, it's virtually a carbon copy field of the Makybe Stakes, and I can't, for the life of me, see why we can't get a carbon copy result. I think Blackheart Bart still has too much spring in his legs for this lot. He'll win. Perfectly drawn. Better jockey on this week. Gets the prize. Rising Romance was game in defeat last start. You predicted that she'd run well, and she did. And the extra 200 metres will suit her. So she's got to be in for second. And tough for third, either our Ivanhoe, who loves it fresh and likes to sting out of the ground, which it may well be, or Palantino. Probably just going to side with Palantino just for my trifecta, but I think he's a special Blackheart Butt.
Yeah, he does look that, doesn't he, Rick? And you know, I'm a bit caught here because your head tells you straight away that he is the horse to beat. That last run was great, but you know, I've gone back, watched that replay over and over, and I think the first time I watched it, I thought he was just really pulling away from that field. But I think once he got sort of length and a half in front of Rising Romance, he held that margin and didn't have to do any more. And going up to 1,600, I'm just not sure he's going to run as well. So I've looked for value, and I'm going to go with our Ivanhoe, Rick. So I'm dropping off Rising Romance. Her second up runs aren't great. She doesn't have a great record. Our Ivanhoe, on the other hand, 3 of his 6 wins have come first up. And go back and watch the Peter Young Stakes last campaign when he was first up, and he was a tragedy beaten when Bow Creek also was a massive run. But in that run, he's finished in front of Happy Trails, Faulkner, and Rising Romance. They all had their chances, and our Ivanhoe was just looking for a look. He's still looking to try and get out. So first up, I think he's definitely one of the class horses in this race. He's going places this campaign, and at $11 each way, I think that's the way to go.
Well, you build a strong case, and I mentioned some of the similar facts earlier. He's an outstanding horse. He's acclimatised to Australian way of racing and training now, so he's got to be better than what he has been previously. And significant to note, the Blackheart Butt's never won over a mile, so he's entering new territory too. But then again, he hasn't had a conditioner quite like Darren Weir looking after him before. Once again, superb race. I think some of the ones who finished in the tail of the field in the Makybe Stakes will run a lot better this time, A, because of the track, but B, because of the way the race will be run. Horses such as Sophia Rosa and Tarzino, probably even he or she. And let's not forget that if we're looking for an upset, if nothing takes entirely platinum on, he might just lead all the way. So there's a lot of elements to suggest it's going to be a great spectacle, but on sheer class alone and past history of only 2 weeks ago, it's very hard to go past Bart, for mine anyway.
Yeah, he is. And I remember speaking to Darren Weir when he was at Morphettville earlier this year, Rick, and he said he's just such a good racehorse. He said he's a genuine racehorse. He said it doesn't matter. And I asked Darren, what do you think his best distance is? He said it doesn't matter. He said you can throw him in a 1,600-metre race, 1,200, a 2,000-metre race. He said he's just a genuine racehorse that gives his all, and you know, they're rare to come along.
Speaking of Darren Weir, he has got, you know, the cream of his crop racing on Saturday at Flemington. He's just got a stable full of stars all over the shop. Even if you look at the last race, who knows how good Howard B. Thy Name will be, but he's engaged, and I think it's a fantastic day for racing, particularly for Darren Weir.
All right, well, Blackheart Bart for you, Rick. Our Ivanhoe for me. And what about the Sydney feature over at Rosehill, the Golden Rose?
Well,
who are you on there, Rick?
That's such a tough race because a bit like this race in Melbourne, Yankee Rose is the best horse. But if you talk to James McDonald, he thinks Astern's the best horse. I'd like to think Yankee Rose is back to her best, and if she is, then I think she towels them, to be honest, because there'll be a bit of pace. The key to the race is Gay Waterhouse. Does she send both of her horses forward? And if so, you know, the 1,000,000 to 1 horse from Queensland, Chamalu, it goes forward, and so does Derren. So if those 2 Waterhouse horses go forward, as their pattern suggests they will, although surely someone will get in Huey's ear and say, don't go forward on El Divino this time. But if they do, then the pace is going to be a cracker, and it's going to suit Ome Sword, Astern, Divine Prophet, and of course Yankee Rose. And if that's the case, and they are running on at Rose Hill, which looks like it'll be a fairly good track, then who finishes the fastest? And I'm going to go for Yankee Rose because I backed her about 8 weeks ago. So I'll stick with her because I do think she's the best. But I'm very wary of a couple of them. Obviously, Astern is very powerful. Il Divino, if he sits behind him, that run last start when he was 4th to Astern was outstanding when you look at it in perspective to the fact that he was probably written upside down. He's going to be right in it too. And, you know, listening to Peter Snowden during the week, he believes Mediterranean's at his best at this trip, and he's going to run a huge race. And that finishing burst of Divine Prophet when he won first up was quite spectacular. Incidentally, on a side note, I did a rough evaluation of horse flesh racing in Sydney and Melbourne on Saturday, and I've still got some horses to add to it, but I'm already up to about $65 million worth of horse flesh already going around this Saturday. But anyway, back to Golden Rose. I think Yankee Rose is the best horse. I'm going to go for her to win from Astern and Divine Prophet.
Yeah, I agree, Rick. Yankee Rose is the best in that race, I think, especially on an exposed form. Her winning the Sire's Produce, where she was caught 3 wide for the trip and just toyed with them. You know, first up into a Group 1, that might have some concern, but she went first up into the Slipper, and she's run second to Capitalist, who was clearly the standout 2-year-old of the season. You know, if that race was a little bit longer, she would have nailed him. So 1,400 first up looks perfect.
Yeah, I'm just worried about whatever that cloud she was under, but on form to date, she's the best runner, so I'm on her.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I was contacted by one of the part owners during the week, Rick, and he gave me some stats on her latest gallop, and she's going better than ever apparently. So I wouldn't be worried about, you know, these couple of trials that people, you know, the media have been sort of talking up and saying, is she back to her best? Because when she's clocked 22 for her last 400 during a track gallop when she was hard held, there was a couple of people at the track that said they haven't seen a gallop like that before. So yeah, she's going extremely well. And when they put up $11 on Wednesday, I couldn't believe it. So jumped on that straight away, and I'll be cheering Yankee Rose home.
Wow, that's 120 to 1. If you get those prices hitting our Ivanhoe, you'll be in for a big day if you can snare that Group 1 double.
That would be nice. 11-11.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else that stands out on anywhere around the country, Rick?
Yeah, look, I think they're both tremendous meetings. Can't wait to see Under the Louvre at Flemington. I think he'll swamp them. I love the fact that he's up against a horse having his only second start in the race, Astro Casper. That excites me. I am going to be I'm going to be on one at big odds in a very open race in the third in Sydney called Suspense. Again, it trialled magnificently well. It's drawn the fence, but gee, it's got some company. Sir Bacchus, Cape Crusader, and the unbeaten Bull Rush. It's going to be a hell of a race, but to me, Suspense looked awesome in its trial, so I'll probably have a bid on it. And I do like Sir John Hawkwood in the Kingston Town Stakes too, but could be a day to just sit back and, oh, there is one. I think Southern Legends, certainty. I think you just smash them. Just smash them. And any price is a good price, even though there's a couple of Group 1 perform horses in it, and he's not, but I think you'll find that he'll win too. So they're my thoughts.
Unbeaten in 2 first-up runs. Suspense, Rick, 650 at the moment. So that looks some pretty good value.
Might even get out because that is a tremendous field, and there's a lot of smart people think Sir Bacchus is a Group 1 horse, but you've got to carry 61.5 second up from a spell. And of course, Bull Rush won its Paratrol the other day brilliantly, and it's never been beaten. So I think Suspense will get out a bit in that race. But while you got your markets there, what price is Southern Legend in race 7?
Southern Legend, race 7. 270, Rick.
270. Ooh, a bit short, but you can't go broke making a profit.
Yeah, it's a bit shorter elsewhere, but 270 at Ladbrokes.
No, is it?
When you mentioned race 3, you had one at good odds. I thought you were going to be either jumping on mine or going against it, Rick. But mine's at Flemington. I got one in race 3 that I was really impressed by the way this thing trialled, and on breeding, being by Manhattan Rain, I was just hoping it would step out over at least 1,400 metres. Mick Price has sent this horse. First up, 1,400 metres. It's called Inspired Estelle. Craig Newitt takes the ride. It's drawn a bit wide, but with any luck, this thing will be charging home at 17 to 1. So I'm pretty keen on Inspired Estelle. The trial was enormous.
Oh, good. Well, you've got to take trials into consideration. I know a lot of people's bag us when we put up those trial stories, but gee whiz, you get winners out of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good luck with it. You've gone for a lot of value all weekend. Excellent.
Yeah, I have. I've found a few at some good odds this weekend. So I think I've got a few that are over the 10 to 1 mark. So head over to bettingpro.com.au and check out our tips for the weekend, and hopefully we can land, a couple at some good prices.
Yeah, there's going to be good prices all day, I think. It's really good racing. Really good racing. Looking forward to seeing Howard Be Thy Name step out. I'm looking forward to DEFCON. I think he's extra smart. And, of course, Kiwi Horse, Extravagant. We haven't spoken about him at all, but he's the best thing since Sunline, apparently. So if he can live up to his rap, then he might give Under the Louvre a bit of a run.
Yeah, I got him at $8.50 for the place in the Cox Plate. So I'm hoping he comes back well and can progress to that one. And $8.50 for the place looks pretty good for mine.
Love to run a poll. Not even right. It's a bit late now, but to see what our learned followers think of the Chelmsford Stakes. If Winks had been in it, would she have beaten Hartnell, given how well he won? I reckon it'd be
James McDonald thinks she still would have, but geez, I don't know. Hartnell was so impressive.
Oh, it would have been a length and a half by 8 lengths. She would have won.
Yeah, you would like to think so, but geez, he was very impressive and soft towards the line. So he looks to have come back really good. Rick, can't wait to see him next time as well.
Oh, and his day is a brilliant racehorse, world-class racehorse.
All right, well, that's this week covered. Hopefully we've found a few winners. Rick, good luck to yourself and good luck to everyone watching.
Yeah, you too. And let's cheer on the Cronulla Sharks in the finals this weekend. They need to win.
All right, bye for now, everyone.
Good on you. Good luck.